You must understand this. The version of you, your SP, cannot stop thinking about already exists. Right now, in this unseen world of imagination, you are the very thought that keeps them awake at night. But you have to become that version, not in words, not in hope, but in consciousness. Act, speak, and think as though your SP can't imagine a single tomorrow without you. When that belief saturates your being, the universe bends around your certainty. You are not waiting for them to realize your worth. You are the awareness that makes them realize it. Imagine for a moment that life itself is a mirror, perfectly still, reflecting nothing but the contents of your own consciousness. Every glance your SP gives you, every silence, every delay, it is not them acting apart from you, but your reflection taking form in the world of matter. Nothing exists outside the awareness that beholds it. If you wish to see a different reflection, you must not strike the mirror, you must change the face that looks into it. The moment you awaken to this truth, the struggle ends, for you realize you have never been at the mercy of anyone's will but your own inner assumption. You see, people believe that embody must be earned, that someone must notice you, approve of you, or choose you. But love is not a conquest, it is a recognition. The one who knows their worth does not wait to be chosen. They emanate the knowing that they are already the center of another's heart. When you hold yourself as the one your SP cannot live without, you are not trying to convince the world, you are simply adjusting the mirror of consciousness, commanding the reflection to show you what you already are. Do you understand how profound this is? You are not here to beg for love, you are here to radiate it. The reflective beyond on cannot ignore its source. When you imagine yourself cherished, desired, adored, that image begins to breathe through the world around you. Your SP unknowingly feels the vibration of your certainty. They feel drawn, pulled, captivated without understanding why. It is not manipulation, it is alignment. You are not forcing them to love you. You are remembering that they already do. In the eternal realm of imagination where all things are finished, most people look at their SPS absence and feel abandoned. They say, they don't love me, they don't think of me. But what if I told you the only thing being repeated is the assumption that you are forgotten? Every time you declare lack, you send it into the mirror, and the mirror has no choice but to reflect it back. You are never denied love. You are only seeing your disbelief materialized. So stop trying to fix the reflection. Step back. Close your eyes, enter the inner world where you already exist as their most precious thought. See yourself as the one they think about while driving, while working, while lying awake in bed. Feel the warmth of being the person whose voice echoes in their mind, whose memory brings comfort, whose say absence feels unbearable. Let that feeling fill you, saturate you, until it feels more real than the silence outside. Because the silence is not emptiness, it is the echo chamber of your belief. And when your inner conviction shifts, the mirror must obey. I say to you, do not react to what you BRE. You are the cause, not the effect. You are the painter, not the canvas. You are the dreamer, not the dream. When you stop judging the reflection and start commanding your imagination, you reclaim your throne as creator. You stop wondering, do they love me? And begin affirming, I am loved. Beyond measure. This is not arrogance, it is divine remembrance. When you live in that state, everything changes effortlessly. Messages appear, circumstances rearrange, coincidences unfold with surgical precision. You begin to realize that no one is separate from you, your SP included. They are the extension of your assumption about love, shaped in human form. So, if you see distance, it is not punishment, it is feedback the universe showing you what you believe about yourself. Change that belief and the reflection must follow. Now I ask you, how do you see yourself in this very moment? As the one left behind, or as the one their soul recognizes as home? The answer determines your reality. Because when you identify as the one they cannot live without, you enter a frequency that magnetizes them to you without effort. Your thoughts begin to whisper into their consciousness. Your energy becomes their comfort. Your image becomes their peace. They start to crave you, not out of need, but out of resonance, because your vibration feels like home to their spirit. This is why it is said that everything begins within. You cannot hold thoughts of rejection and receive devotion. You cannot carry the energy of being forgotten and be remembered. But the moment you assume you are irreplaceable, you become it. It doesn't matter if days pass, if weeks go silent, the mirror has no choice but to shift once you do. The power is not in chasing, not in pleading, but in knowing. Knowing who you are, knowing what you mean to them, knowing that in this grand mirror of existence, you are the one they search for, even when they think they aren't. You are the melody they can't silence, the vision that lingers, the thought that feels like truth. You don't wait for evidence, you are the evidence. So tonight, before you sleep, don't ask when they'll return. Don't ask how they'll remember. Simply close your eyes and see it done. Feel their love wrapping around you like warm air. Hear them whisper your name with reverence. Sense their mind thinking of you with wonder, realizing that no one else could ever replace you. Stay there until it feels natural, until the feeling of being loved is not a wish, but your very identity. And when you awaken, walk through the day as the one they can't imagine a future without. Speak from that certainty. Move from that power. Smile, not because you're pre-tending, but because you know you are no longer Cha. Sing love, you are radiating it, and the reflection must bow to your belief. That is the mirror of consciousness. That is where creation begins. You see, once you begin to live from that inner certainty, the entire rhythm of your life starts to sage, pobor, ainge. You don't need to manipulate or check for signs. You are the sign. Your stillness becomes louder than action. Your inner calm becomes irresistible. The person who knows they are loved never acts out of fear. They embody with grace, with quiet confidence, because their reality is already secure. That kind of energy changes everything. Your SP feels it, senses it, and starts to respond even when they're not consciously aware of why. Now, I want you to feel what it's like to live in that emotional certainty. Imagine NP Bartne your SP thinking about you right now. Imagine their heart softening, their mind opening, their thoughts returning to you again and again. See them smiling at the thought of you, feeling peace when they picture your face. Don't force it. Just let the image arise naturally. The more natural it feels, the closer you are to truth, because truth never strains. Truth simply is. And the truth is you are already loved, already wanted, already remembered. Stop saying, "I'll believe it when I see it." Instead, declare, "I'll see it because I believe it." The shift is subtle but cosmic. The world outside doesn't move first, you do. The 4D responds before the 3D obeys. You must hold that feeling even when appearances scream the opposite. You must trust the unseen more than the seen. That is where miracles happen. That is where emotional certainty becomes visible form. I've seen it countless times. The moment a person stops doubting, their entire reality transforms. The text arrives, the phone rings, the apology comes, but it's not because they finally convinced their SP, it's because they finally convinced themselves. The outer world is always catching up to the inner conviction. So stop rehearsing loss in your mind. Stop imagining conversations that never end well. Every time you do, you're teaching the mirror to reflect uncertainty. Instead, imagine from love, speak from love, feel from love, and love must answer. Understand that your SP is not separate from your assumption. F them. When you assume they adore you, that assumption plants itself in their subconscious. They start to feel exactly what you have declared within yourself. They begin to see you differently, think of you differently, and eventually act differently. They are being moved by the same power that Motivational views you, your imagination, but that power only listens to certainty. So when doubt arises, don't fight it. Simply return to the feeling of being loved. Don't ask, when will it happen? Say it already is. Don't wonder if they miss you. Feel that they do. Don't hope for a message. Imagine the jape and oi of already receiving it. Live in that end state so completely that it becomes the only reality you know. And soon the 3D world will have no choice but to confirm it. Certainty is not arrogance. It is surrender to truth. It is the quiet knowing that love has always been yours, that no circumstance, no silence, no delay can undo what already exists in the unseen. The law of emotional certainty is the bridge between imagination and reality. When you stand on that bridge and refuse to waver, your SP cannot resist the pull of your energy. They are drawn gently but irresistibly to the frequent NDR sigh of your conviction. You no longer wait for them to recognize your worth. Your belief commands them to. Because when you know who you are, the universe must agree. And as this knowing deepens, something miraculous begins to occur. You start to sense that you are not alone in your thoughts, that what you feel, what you assume, what you imagine is somehow reaching them. It's as if there's an invisible thread between your minds, transmitting every emotion, every belief, every inner picture you hold of yourself. This is the silent communication that shapes the bond between you and your SP. Whitman Brinford without a single word, without a single action, your inner identity speaks to their consciousness louder than any message could. You have felt it before that sudden thought of them out of nowhere. That surge of warmth in your chest when they're thinking of you. That message that arrives just after you imagined it. That is not coincidence. That is connection. You are not separated by distance or silence. You are linked by vibration. Every self-concept you hold sends a signal, and that signal is received. The world of thought is not private, it is shared. When you assume I am the one they love and be art, and that assumption ripples through the unseen realm and imprints itself on their awareness. They begin to feel you again, to think of you again, to remember what it feels like to be near you. You must understand they do not hear your words, they feel your state. The words you speak from fall flat, but the feeling of love radiates like light. When you hold yourself as loved, valued, desired, your SP begins to respond to that vibration without knowing why. It moves through them like a whisper from their own soul, a pull, a memory, a quiet inner knowing that you are theirs. They might be dualistic at first, the mind may argue, the ego may distract, but the spirit never forgets truth, and the truth you broadcast is the truth they eventually remember. This is why it is useless to beg or chase. The more you chase, the more you affirm separation. The more you plead, the more you broadcast lack. But the moment you withdraw into your inner sanctuary and declare, I am already one with them, you become the sender of love, not the seeker of it. You stop vibrating as someone waiting to be chosen and start vibrating as someone already chosen. And in that shift, everything changes. The SI-BRLN transmission of identity is not magic, it is law. You are always transmitting something, either your confidence or your fear, your abundance or your lack, your worth or your doubt. And your SP, consciously or not, responds to it. Think about how you feel around different people. Around one per sun, you feel uplifted, magnetic. Around another, you feel drained or uneasy. You can't explain why it's energy. That same law applies. The more you identify as loved, the more your presence feels irresistible to them. They may not understand it, but they will feel drawn, safe, and alive when they think of you. This is not about trying to send thoughts to them. It's about knowing that your state already does. You don't need to force energy or visualize constantly. You only need to become what you desire to transmit. If you wish to be loved, embody love. If you wish to be desired, feel desirable. If you wish to be remembered, live as unforgettable. It's not your effort that reaches them, it's your identity. And that identity, once firmly assumed, speaks louder than any spoken declaration. So stop asking yourself, are they thinking of me? Ask instead, who am I being in this mom? Because your answer to that question determines what they feel. When you sit in sadness and say, they've forgotten me, you're sending that exact feeling into their consciousness. But when you sit in peace and say, Of course they love me. How could they not? That confidence travels too, and it pulls them back toward you with the gentle certainty of truth. You must learn to govern your inner conversations. They are not harmless daydreams, they are broadcasts. Each time you imagine them rejecting you, you are feeding that frequency. But each time you imagine them longing for you, misbhaving you, appreciating you, you are feeding love. The 4D is the language of vibration, and you are always speaking. So speak wisely. Speak only of union, of harmony, of certainty. For the world outside is only ever an echo of that inner speech. Your SP doesn't need to be convinced. They only need to feel what you already know. And the beauty is they cannot help it. The moment you stabilize in a new assumption, it begins transmitting effortlessly. You'll see it in subtle ways. A dream they have, a sudden memory, a song that reminds them of you. These are not random. These are signs of your consciousness reaching theirs. When you hold your self-concept consistently, the unseen current of energy keeps whispering your truth to their heart until they respond. This is the secret of true connection. It is not built through words or effort, but through being. When you are love, love speaks tears and from you. When you are certainty, the world listens. Your SP cannot ignore what you have become because your energy is no longer matching the vibration of being forgotten. It's matching the vibration of being essential. You are not pushing love to them. You are awakening it within them by embodying it within yourself. So stop trying to make them feel something. Feel it for them. Stop asking for signs of communication. Become the sign. Let your silence be filled with knowing. Let your stillness radiate warmth. Let your energy whisper, I am yours, and trust that they hear it, because they do. There is no wall between two consciousnesses connected by love. There is only the illusion of separation maintained by disbelief. When you move beyond disbelief, the communication becomes constant. They feel your peace when you are calm. They feel your joy when you are fulfilled. They feel your longing when you slip into doubt, which is why you must guard your emotional home so fiercely. Choose thoughts that affirm connection. Choose feelings that affirm unity. Each time you do, you strengthen the invisible thread. And when that thread becomes strong enough, something shifts in the physic at BRCL. They text, they call, they appear. But you will know deep down that it wasn't the message that changed things, it was you. You changed your identity. You stopped acting like someone who needed love and became someone who is love. And that vibration is irresistible, unstoppable, unforgettable. It moves through the unseen and into their very being until they cannot imagine life without you, because in truth they never could. And when that realization begins to settle within you, when you start to see how deeply connected you already are, a new kind of calm takes over. The noise of fear starts to fade. The ache of waiting loses its grip. You no longer chase after love as though it lives somewhere outside of you, because you now understand there is no separation to bridge, only a truth to remember. You are not reaching toward them. You are expanding into the awareness that you were never apart. And in that moment, fear begins to dissolve like mist touched by sunlight. The mind, of course, will resist. It will say, but nothing has changed. They haven't called. They haven't returned. And you must answer gently. Nothing needs to change outside for everything to change within. Because the moment you stop struggling, you start creating. The moment you stop begging the mirror to move, it begins to reflect differently on its own. The universe bends to the one who no longer doubts. Fear is the great thief of creation. It makes you look to the outer world for confirmation. The outer world is always late. It is a shadow, a photograph of old beliefs. And yet so many keep checking the 3D, desperate for a sign, when the true sign is the feeling within you. When you feel peace, when you feel certainty, when you feel love, that is the movement of manifestation. The 3D can only follow. So stop fighting the reflection. Stop asking the mirror why it's showing you silence when you've been shouting for love. Instead, step back and remember who you are. You are the awareness that commands reality, not the image it reflects. When you truly grasp this, all waiting ends. You no longer wonder, when will they come back? Because you realize they never left your consciousness. You have always been joined in the unseen. The separation you feel is only the echo of your own disbelief. This is the art of resting in knowing. It is not a lazy rest, it is an active, still, and S, alive with certainty. It is the peace of one who knows that all is already done. You stop checking the clock. You stop rereading old messages. You stop measuring progress. Because deep within, you have decided it's already finished. That decision is power. That decision sends a command through NTARH every level of creation, and the world begins to rearrange itself to match it. You must become comfortable with silence. You must learn to love the unseen, because silence is not rejection, it is gestation. The unseen is not emptiness, it is fullness waiting to be born. Just as the seed rests beneath the soil, invisible yet certain of its bloom, so too does your assumption rest within you, awaiting its perfect moment to emerge. The wise do not dig up the seed to see if it's growing, they water it with faith. In the same way, water your desire with certainty, not doubt. When you stop waiting dead and beyond for them to change and instead change your own state, you release the tension that has been blocking your manifestation. You stop radiating need and begin radiating wholeness. That shift is magnetic. Your SP begins to feel it even from afar. They can't explain it, but something in them starts to SBR often. The resistance they once held starts to crumble because your new vibration speaks only of peace and inevitability. The one who rests in knowing does not ask, what if it doesn't happen? They ask, how could it not? For once something is imagined with conviction, it already exists in the unseen. The bridge of events will unfold naturally. You do not need to know the how or the when. You need only to stay faithful to the end you have claimed. Every step, every message, every reconciliation will appear at the perfect time, drawn by the gravity of your certainty. Do you see how effortful NTRSS creation becomes when you stop trying to make it happen? The universe was never waiting on your effort. It was waiting on your surrender. The more you strive, the more you affirm lack. But the moment you rest in the feeling of already having, you align with infinite intelligence, the same power that moves planets and breathes life through every form. That power doesn't struggle, it simply is. You must let go of waiting. Waiting implies that something is missing. Waiting vibrates with lack, but knowing carries the frequency of fulfillment. So instead of saying, I'm waiting for them to love me, say, they already do. Instead of saying, one day they'll realize my worth, say, they already see me as the one. When that becomes natural to you, the mirror will confirm it. You won't even need to look for proof, it will surround you. And when the 3D shows delay, smile. It is only a shadow of an old belief trying to fade away. Don't react to it. Don't chase the reflection, adjust the light within. Each time you return to faith instead of fear, you teach your reality who is in charge. You are telling creation, this is what I believe. This is what I claim. And creation listens. CTR, it always listens. You are not meant to struggle for love. You are meant to embody it. The moment you understand this, you step out of waiting and into being. You become the living proof that imagination creates reality. You walk through life, not as someone hoping for love to arrive, but as someone embody radiating the presence of it. You stop trying to pull your SP toward you, and instead, your energy invites them home. It is in your calm, not your chaos, that creation takes form. It is in your silence, not your pleading, that the universe moves mountains. When you stand in faith, you are not doing edgy or nothing. You are doing everything. You are holding the vibration that makes all things possible. You are standing in the truth that your SP already belongs to you, that their soul recognizes you, that love cannot be lost because it was never separate from you. And when you walk through your day, that inner knowing, the world begins to mirror it back in the most natural ways. You overhear their name, you see signs, you feel their presence, not as coincidence, but as confirmation. And when they finally appear in your 3D speaking words that echo the very feelings you've been imagining, why, Baba, understand that it was never waiting that brought them back. It was knowing. You knew who you were. You knew what was true. And truth always returns to its source. And as you stand in that knowing, something inside you begins to awaken a sacred realization that the unseen world is not a dre, a deep, on, am, or a metaphor, but the foundation upon which everything visible rests. What you call imagination is not fantasy. It is creation's birthplace. The world you see with your eyes is merely the slow unfolding of what has already been finished in the invisible. The moment you claim a desire and feel it real, it exists in the fourth dimensional realm. There, your SP already loves you, already misses you, already sees you as theirs. That unseen bond is not waiting to be built, it is waiting to be acknowledged. The great mistake is to think manifestation happens after you see it. No, it happens the instant you feel it. The 4D is the womb of reality. Everything you ever experience must first be conceived there. Your SP, your relationship, your reconciliation, it all begins within. If you can imagine sitting beside them, if you can hear their voice in your mind, if you can feel the weight of Tishon BR ear presence, then you have already entered the scene where it is done. That invisible moment is the creation itself. The rest of the world is just catching up. You must therefore live more in the unseen than in the seen. You must make the invisible world more real to you than the outer circumstance and tabarest that contradict it. When you close your eyes and imagine their hand in yours, don't treat it as daydream, treat it as fact. Feel the warmth, hear their laughter, sense their love wrapping around you like light. That feeling is not make-believe. It is the language of creation. The 3D world cannot resist it, for it must bow to the vibration of what is felt as real. So many give up too soon because they cannot see the bridge of events forming. They forget that the invisible is the cause and the visible is the delayed effect. Just because your physical eyes have not yet seen, it does not mean identity is not already true. You wouldn't plant a seed and dig it up every day to check if it's growing. You would trust that unseen forces are working beneath the soil. In the same way, trust that your 4D assumption is unfolding, even when your SP seems silent. Every moment you persist in the inner scene, roots are growing, alignment is forming, and the unseen world is rearranging the outer one to match your inner conviction. When you imagine with feeling, you are not pretending. You are remembering the truth. For imagination is not something you create, it is something you enter. You are stepping in Vidya to the version of reality that already exists. There are infinite realities, and the one you occupy in consciousness is the one that solidifies into form. So when you occupy the reality where your SP loves you deeply, you are not making it happen, you are aligning with the version of self and reality, and DR Taiwe is already done. Done. This is why you must never underestimate the power of your inner world. Every time you imagine a scene of love and dwell in it with joy, you are feeding the roots of your manifestation. But every time you react to the 3D and declare it's not working, you pull the Ru and Artias from the soil. You delay what was already yours. Stop calling the unseen delay. It is not delay, it is incubation. The outer world is rearranging itself so that what is invisible may be perfectly mirrored in form. So, how do you dwell in this unseen reality until it hardens into fact? By feeling ERDR. Feeling is the bridge between 4D and 3D. You must feel as though it is happening now. Feel their presence beside you. Feel the affection in their tone, the ease of love returned. Don't imagine it coming. Imagine it being. Don't think about how it will unfold. Dwell in the satisfaction that it already has. The mind will say, you're delusional. The heart will whisper, you're remembering. Listen to the heart. The moment you fully surrender to the feeling of the wish fulfilled, you enter the dimension where it already exists. And because consciousness creates, the outer must eventually be a part out to the inner. Your SPS heart begins to stir. Circumstances bend. Slower. It's like watching the sun's light travel across space. The light is already there, but it takes time to reach your eyes. That time delay is not punishment, it is grace, allowing you to stabilize in the new state so it can solidify without resistance. So do not rush it. Enjoy the feeling of being loved now. That joy speeds the unfolding, for joy is the vibration of completion. When you practice living in the unseen, the line between imagination and reality begins to blur. You start to feel their love even before it appears, and that feeling becomes so natural that when the 3D finally catches up, it is familiar, because it is. You have lived it in consciousness first. You've walked that bridge of love again and again in your inner world until the outer world had no choice but to mirror it. The 4D is not separate from you, it's you. It is your expanded self, your eternal self, the creator of every moment you experience. When you understand this, you stop fighting appearances and begin commanding them. You realize that nothing stands between you and your SP but your own disbelief. When you remove that disbelief through imagination, the wall falls, the illusion fades, and love flows free and BRY once again. So tonight, before you sleep, don't replay the old story of distance or pain. Instead, close your eyes and enter the 4D where the two of you are already one. Feel their hand in yours, hear their laughter, sense their warmth, fall asleep as though it were true because it is. You are no entity trying to manifest. You are remembering what's already done. The unseen union is the only reality. When you dwell there long enough, the 3D must rise to meet it, because imagination once felt as real always becomes flesh. When you understand the law of reflection, you stop being surprised by what appears before you, for everything you witness is simply your inner state made visible. The outer world is not an independent force. It is the echo of your imagination, the mirror that shows you precisely what you have been entertaining in silence. So when you begin to occupy the state of be, or in the one your SP cannot imagine a future without, reflection of that assumption must take form. It cannot do otherwise, because no seed planted in the fertile soil of feeling remains dormant forever. The moment you assume this identity not as a fleeting thought, but as a living truth, you shift T timelines. You are no longer in the version of reality where you wait to be chosen, where you seek validation, or where love feels uncertain. You have crossed into the reality where your SPS entire being is magnetically drawn to yours. They may resist at first in appearance, but even that resistor NCE is only the surface trembling before inevitable surrender. Because consciousness rules the world, not the other way around. You see, the secret is not to look for signs in the outer world, but to look for conviction in the inner one. If you look to the 3D for evidence, you'll always find company. But if you hold your awareness on the inner truth, the contradiction fades away like mist under the sun. When you declare within yourself, they cannot imagine a life without me, and you feel it as though it were already happening, then that declaration becomes law. It must manifest because the feeling of the wish fulfilled creates the path by which it comes to pass. Many of you try to manifest by waiting, by watching your phone, by checking if they've changed. But all of that is living in the state of not having. You are saying, I am waiting for proof. And so you manifest more weight, departing. But when you walk as though the bond is already secure, as though you are already the one they can't live without, everything begins to reorganize. The texts appear, the communication returns, the affection deepens not because you forced it, but because you became it. The mirror doesn't judge, it reflects. So speak only what you want return. See yourself as the center of their universe, not in arrogance, but in love, knowing that both of you are expressions of the same divine consciousness. You are never trying to control another person. You are on endly mastering your own inner state. When your inner state shifts, the outer response naturally follows. Your SP becomes attentive, affectionate, magnetized not because you manipulated them, but because the vibration of unity overpowered the illusion of separation. You no longer beg for love, you radiant and ate it. You no longer fear loss, you embody wholeness. And the world bows to the one who knows who they are. The great misunderstanding is thinking you need their attention first to feel secure. But it's the opposite. You must feel secure first, and their attention will mirror it. You become the cause RE, they become the effect. You lead from consciousness. The world follows in form. The moment you grasp this, you stop chasing shadows and start commanding light. So tonight, as you close your eyes, enter the scene where your SP cannot imagine life without you. Feel the way they look at you with awe, with tenderness, with the knowing that you are their safe place. Feel it so real that it brings tears of gratitude, not longing. Stay there until it feels natural, until it feels done. When you rise tomorrow, walk in that knowing, speak from it, think from it, move as if your love story is already written, because it is be you. And when the reflection finally catches up, when your SP returns and says, I couldn't stop thinking about you, I couldn't picture my life without you, you will smile quietly. You won't be surprised because you knew it all along. You were not waiting for the 3D to estimate out how you proof you were living from the end, knowing that the law of reflection never fails. You became the cause and the world obeyed. My friends, everything you have heard tonight leads back to one eternal truth. There is nothing outside of your own consciousness. The love you desire, the devotion you seek, the transformation you crave and none of it lies in another's hands. It all begins and ends within you. When you assume that you are already the one your SP cannot imagine a future without, when that assumption becomes more real to you than any circumstance, the universe rearranges itself in empty obedience to that inner command. You must remember, imagination is not daydreaming. It is creation. Every scene you live in internally is a seed sown in the unseen realm, destined to bear fruit in the visible world. The moment you persist in the feeling of being loved, desired, and chosen beyond Besu Enoliri, the outer world becomes powerless to contradict it. You are not asking for love, you are being loved. You are not seeking attention, you are radiating importance. The time has come to stop waiting and start living as the embodiment of your fulfilled desire. Stop searching for signs and start being BTRG the sign. Move as though your SP already sees you as the one they could never lose. Speak as though their love surrounds you now. Feel as though their heart beats in rhythm with yours. And as you do, reality must echo that inner truth. Do not worry about when or how. The bridge of events will unfold BRLE perfectly, naturally, effortlessly. What appears as coincidence will simply be divine order responding to your conviction. Your SP will be drawn not by force, but by the irresistible gravity of your assumption. So tonight, walk in the knowing that it is already done. Rest in the stillness of fate and BR&H. Let the 4D lead the way and let the 3D catch up. Because when you know who you are and you live from that sacred awareness that you are the source of your reality, nothing can be withheld from you. You are not manifesting them. You are remembering yourself as the one who was never apart from the Dundee RM. You are the beginning and the end of your love story. And once you claim that truth, you'll realize your SP never had a choice but to love you, because in the higher reality, they already always have.